Yeah, so it's very important for any organization, especially a nonprofit, to know the target audience. When I say know your target audience, you should know their strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Not limiting who we work with, especially if we got a similar vision. And that's coming from individual groups, organizations, private, and public. MAG is on a mission just to bring better living standards, better conditions.
To the issue of reform, I would say generally this. I think our country, the criminal justice system, the community, we're always intended to continue to be moving forward in making progression for our people in the process. So we should always be getting better.
Serious. Let me tell you how serious they were.
How long can you be held on a traffic stop? There is no, and I'm going to get off in the weeds here a little bit, but there is no finite number, okay? There's no magic number. There's nothing in a rule book or handbook that says 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. A person can only be lawfully detained by a law enforcement officer for a threshold that's called reasonable suspicion, okay? And that's a pretty low threshold.
Trying to work to change things where our youth will not get into that pipeline, because once they're in that pipeline, you can forget.
Which is why it's important that you have groups like yourself and the things that you all are doing here today, because the only way to change it and reform it and make sure it continues to get better is by the people. People have to be involved. They have to be calling to attention and bringing people to recognize what are the issues. What do we need to look at? What do we need to maybe tweak or adjust? What kinds of debates, what kind of forums do we need to have to get people involved so we understand what is going on in the issues. But everything is, that's my view. I don't think anything's ever intended to be a finished product.
Very, very familiar with. Not all law enforcement officers are familiar with it, and certainly our citizens are, so it's an excellent opportunity for me to help folks understand what the process is and how it goes. First, of course, is the complaint intake. So we receive complaints at the Sheriff's Office, and all law enforcement organizations receive complaints. They can come in any way, shape, or fashion. We don't restrict those complaints. They can come in via writing on our website. They can come in anonymously. They can come in via email. You can come in person. You can pick up the telephone. We don't restrict the method or the means with which we intake complaints. So any method that you have at your disposal, we'll take your complaint. And we're obligated by policy to investigate each and every one.
Just like to work with groups like yours and others who.
One of the things about our chief is he does something called walk the beat. He's one of the first chiefs that I've known to do something like this, where he takes a day out of the month and he walks the neighborhoods. He walks the streets. He talks to the residents. And that falls under a concept called community-oriented policing, where you don't police from the standpoint of, hey, I have a gun and I have a badge. Put your hands up. They police from the standpoint is the police force is only as strong as a community that surrounds it. And so under that concept, we're connected through GPD under the Community Resource Bureau. And so our job is to go out and serve the at-risk young men in the community, and in response to something that's gloomy, and we all know it, it's called disproportionate minority contact, where in the state of Florida, you have a high percentage of minority arrest rates. As a matter of fact, here in Alachua County, 72% of the juvenile arrests in Alachua County is African American. Well, we only make up about 12.1%. And so we had one of the highest disproportionate minority contact arrest rates in the entire state of Florida. I think somewhere down south beat us out. And so in terms of the Riker House, how we're connected to GPD is that we go and we serve these young men, because it's much cheaper to put your dollars in prevention instead of intervention after they've already been incarcerated and locked up. And so our job is to go out on the forefront. We're a frontline runner for these at-risk young men. So that's how we're connected to GPD through prevention.
When you first arrive on one of those three tracks, you could be on the employment track, which is the career. You could be on the education track, college, or advanced training, or you could be on the listening track, military. So one of those three tracks.
For sports in the state of Florida. We serve Electra and Bradford counties. We help the community thrive by developing and providing the workforce talent for our local businesses that they need to succeed, and by assisting the unemployed and the underemployed achieve self-sufficiency through employment to improve their quality of life.
And to you, sir. Thank you for inviting me.
you.